How's it going, everybody? December 7th, Merch by Amazon sales update. So this video is just going to be a quick update, but I do have a theory, or I guess it would be a theory. It's I guess a bunch of opinions after a few discussions with some people that have been in the business for a while. I had a maybe half an hour long conversation with somebody who's extremely successful when it comes to print on demand, and not just print on demand, but just e-commerce, online stores and all that kind of stuff. And we were discussing my Merch by Amazon results, and basically the conclusion is, and I'll talk about some of the details and what the conversation was about, but the conclusion about what's going on with my account, and this could be the case for a lot of you guys as well, is just the overwhelming amount of money that is being spent on ads right now during December. And not just December, but especially December. And we're talking like, somebody like me in my position with these kinds of like earnings, for example, on average is spending $20 to $50 a day. He was saying that people that have actually been in the business for a while actually will invest maybe up to 25 to 30% of their earnings, their regular earnings monthly, into ads in December and November, because they know that, for example, if I let's say if I have 100, we're just going to go with round numbers, even though it could be 1,000. Let's say I have 100 Christmas specific or holiday or New Year's, doesn't matter, specific t-shirts, and especially let's say they're newer listings and newer designs. There's no way that they're going to show up in anybody's search if there are people spending $100 a day on ads promoting their products that have been live for a while. They could be new and they're promoting them, so that means that they're going to showing those results. But especially if they have generated sales over the last couple of years and they have customer feedback, their bestseller rank is already lower than your standard product. So basically, if you're not part of the group who has products that have actually sold, and then organically, for example, are holiday bestsellers, then you're competing with either older or newer products that are, like I said, just people are pumping money into ads. So when we're talking about for example, drop in sales, and that's kind of been the theme since mid-November for me, that's definitely why, because this is the exact opposite of what we would expect to see in November and December. And people were, there was a couple of my best sellers haven't sold in about 3 weeks, and I mean like zero sales. Listings are still up, I checked. And it's so weird for me because, like you guys know, like those of you who've been watching my videos regularly, I was getting 10 plus sales for those products a day, which is nuts. So that's kind of the feedback that I received, and if I actually think it through, it does make sense to me. Like, I mean, we would still like to see organic sales come in, for example, in December. Like, all of this is organic over here, but this is when Merch by Amazon was a much smaller platform. This is when we didn't have so many people involved and so many products that are exactly the same with same keywords, same titles, all that kind of stuff. But anyways, you guys know me. You guys understand that this for me is long term. Like for example, this was a $900 month. Getting $900 a month in royalties just on merch, is to me is amazing. Like, including this month, like even like I was actually just looking at these numbers and kind of trying to figure out what the month is going to be like, and it could potentially be one of the lowest months of the year, and we're talking about December, which is nuts. But anyways, we'll get to that. So let's look into some of these numbers. My weekly or 7-day average here is about 45. So that's kind of where I am. And as you can see, for example, for 7 days, now I'm doing about, let's say, $700 plus in sales, which is about $90 or $100 in royalties. I used to do that in a day. This month so far, 34 sales in the US, $606 for the total amount in royalties of $71. This is 6.5 days. This is I can't even tell you how bad this is, but that's okay. Royalties per sale, 207. Now, if you guys go back and look at any of my videos, for example, from even a month and a half ago, let's say 2 months, this was at 450, 430, and I was actually really excited about that. But here's the difference. Pop sockets, pop sockets, pop sockets, pop sockets, pop sockets, right? So again, it is the product type that is selling not the most, but up there, and that has royalties of 225. And then if that's not bad enough, so far 7 returns. So again, this is what would this be? About 20%. This has never happened before, right? So I guess this is what we're dealing with, and I'm already now thinking about next year, and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm putting aside, $50 a day for ads, because but again, you just can't do it. You can't just throw money at it, and you guys know that I've tried a couple times. It really has to be well thought out, strategic, and just consider that that's part of the business, because that's what that's what your competition is doing. So far this month, total number of sales 54. So like I said, 6.5 days, 54 products sold. Definitely terrible, right? So let's compare that to last month. So we'll do first 7 days, 88, right? So I mean that's a huge difference. So, but again, we kind of know what we're dealing with, and we know where we are. As you can see here, that my new average is about 5 now, but then I'm having days like this, 1 sale, and then as you can see, royalties minus 230, because this was probably a pop socket, and somebody returned a t-shirt or something like that. So there was a loss. And this kind of stuff did not happen. And then we're talking about Q4, when we think that things would be a lot more organized, that Amazon would be a lot more prepared, but I'm seeing the opposite. Now, the people that I interact with through this channel, and then a couple of other people, for example, that I would not consider people with 15 or 20 years of experience, are experiencing some of the same things. People that are in tiers 100,000, 200,000, there's an established, I guess, a level of sales, and they have so many established products that their story is a little different, right? Because they will see that spike in sales, and especially in addition to those organic sales, if you're spending $100, $150, $200 a day, which to me is nuts, on advertising, you're going to generate sales. So, I mean, this is kind of where we are. This is the reality. It is honestly completely opposite of what I expected going into Q4, but it is an important lesson. And again, I mean, it's not just something, for example, we can say, well, we've learned, we know exactly what to do differently now. I don't. I have some theories. I have some things, for example, that I'm thinking about how I can improve this, for example, for next year, which will be a completely different story. Like, I won't be at 6,000 designs. I won't be at, these numbers will be completely different. So, but still, we really have to kind of go with that flow, the momentum change, our products, best products, not selling anymore. I'm selling products that I haven't sold in 2 years. So a lot of that, I guess, unpredictability needs to be put into consideration. And again, I'll just go back to what I always say is we have to treat this as a business. And I think that I personally, when it comes to working on it, I definitely treat it as a business. I treat it as a serious business. But when it comes to strategy, when it comes to research, and when it comes to, for example, reinvesting money into this business, those are the things that I haven't done. So again, for me, losing $1,000 or $2,000, this month is not a big deal. It's disappointing because that's why we do this. But again, hopefully the lesson learned here is actually more valuable than $1,000 in royalties. And again, I always go back to this. Like, look at this. This is what I have to work on in 2022, and this as well. So there's no stopping. There's no kind of feeling bad for ourselves or anything. Still, this is free money. I'm going to take it, and that's where we are. So, anyways, that's the sales summary with a bunch of opinions and feelings, and that's it. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks, guys.